Welcome to episode 140 of Latino Vegano. And today I'm going to be talking about the effect of a vegan diet on children and teenagers, including how parents can support their kids in following a plant based lifestyle or a plant based diet. So, this is episode 140. So, let's go. So let me start first by saying thank you guys always for all the support. Appreciate you guys. Go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, and you can watch all these different videos also on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, and some snippet that I will put all on our Instagram, which is at Latino Vegano. That's my handle for my Instagram. All right, so let's talk about now about the effect of a vegan diet on the children and on teenagers, including how parents can support their kids following a plant-based lifestyle. Veganism is a growing trend in the United States and around the world. But while many people have embraced the lifestyle, it can be overwhelming for children and teens who are just starting out on their own journey, like if you're starting on transitioning. So this is not for kids. These messages or this advice is not for those that are already vegan. Great for you guys. Awesome that you have vegan parents or you already was born vegan. That's awesome. This is mostly for those kids or teenagers that want to adapt a vegan lifestyle, that wants to adapt a vegan diet or a plant-based diet, but they might have their parents not supporting them. Because I was at one point that I was that person at age I was around 20 or my early 20s when I decided to go vegan. 22, 23, around that age. And I didn't have a lot of support from my parents, right? Of course, because back then veganism was not even something very common. A lot of you guys know my story already, right? So, so what is it that I can provide you guys with content that would allow you, if you're a teen, you're a millennial, whatever, or Gen Z, and you want to turn vegan. Okay, so here's a few things that you can do, or a couple of things that benefit you, especially from my experience, that can help you do that transition in a better way. So I'm here to help with some tips from myself, from experts about how parents can support their kids in making a good food choices for themselves and others. The vegan lifestyle or plant-based diet, meaning it includes no animal products. It may help your children or teen develop healthier eating habits and can support their growth and development. So we all know how good eating a balanced whole food plant-based diet can benefit you. So if it benefits you as an adult, it'll definitely benefit a kid or a child or a teenager. For most children, the transition to a vegan diet is easy because they love food, especially those food that are colorful and sweet. They will probably have little trouble adjusting to the new ways of eating. This is assuming the children are transitioning, right? So what we call sweet and colorful is because there's a lot of fruits, a lot of veggies, and some children might not like the taste of veggie, but you can always add fruits to it, and it allows them to have something sweeter. However, there are some children who have kind of like a difficulty adjusting to a plant-based diet due to certain physical conditions such as allergies and intolerances. Food sensitivities, basically. In this case, you should consult a health professional before making any dietary changes for your child. A child or teen following a vegan diet can get all the nutrients they need, but proper planning is necessary to make sure they're getting enough calcium, iron, and vitamin D. The best way to ensure that your child gets adequate nutrients is by offering them plenty of healthy food at meal times. These include regular meals consisting of whole grains, legumes, as well as fruits and vegetables. You should also be sure not to skip breakfast or snacks or sugary snacks too often. This can contribute to weight gain, right, when eating regularly through the day. By including this food in your child's diet every day, you'll be ensuring that they have enough energy throughout the day so that they don't feel hungry while playing sport or attending schools even after school hours are in. If you're looking for a plant-based meal that is tailored to your child needs, check out a couple of tips, right? These are a few tips. Although I do highly suggest that you can find a nutritionist or somebody expert in the field. Dr. Jami, she was interviewing my podcast a couple years ago. She is highly expert in the field. She wrote a couple of books, and then she has plenty of content on social media as well. And she specializes in kids and baby, and she always helped their parents with the whole transition. So for I also have Mariana. Mariana is also a nutritionist. She specializes in kids as well. She's down in Mexico, so for all my Mexicans and above, I guess and beyond too, that is looking for a good reference. I can link them up in the description of the video or audio, so you guys can know who I'm talking about if you don't know them already. So this will be a couple of references of people that I know that I recommend that if you want to be able to talk to someone that is expert in the field when it comes to your kids, especially adopting a plant-based diet. Okay. All right. So stock up on nutrients dense food like legumes and whole grains, which are high in protein and vitamin. So your child gets all the nutrients he or she needs with fewer calories. Keep track of what's in the food for your serve at home. Basically, like you need to know what you're serving at home. You may find some new favorites. Pregnancy doesn't mean giving up on vegan diet or giving up on a vegan diet at all. In fact, it is important to continue eating well while pregnant, because I know a lot of women has the misconception that when you are pregnant, you have to change your diet to eat more protein, basically. So they let off of the vegan diet or the plant-based diet. I actually know a case one time. I met a person which is she was an eye doctor, and when I met her, she was like we had a conversation about a couple things, and then being vegan came up. She was like, "Oh, I'm vegan too," and then she mentioned that she was being vegan for like about 10 plus years or whatnot. And at that point, I was over 10 years as well, so I was excited to kind of have a conversation with her about it. And one of the questions I asked her is there's an advantage of having eating a plant-based diet for sightseeing and not sightseeing but for my eyes, does it make any benefit? And well, she mentioned that having a good diet, being healthy, definitely reflects in all different part of your body, including your vision. So that was nice to hear that. So anyway, at the end of the conversation, she kind of mentioned that her husband was not vegan when she was pregnant, and he was trying to like get her to not eat vegan foods for the benefit of the kid. And also, to me, that was shocking because I know she's not a doctor per se from a medical standpoint, but she has to study some kind of nutrition or anything in those lines. Or even if she had not, I can tell that she can get actual information from somebody in the field that knows what they're talking about, not just because your husband says that. So anyway, long story short is that I didn't know what happened, so I never went back to the clinic for several years. So let's say, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, I went back to the clinic. At this point, of course, she already had the baby and whatnot. And the first thing I asked her, so what happened? What was the outcome? You had the baby. She's like, yeah, I had my baby on. This still great. Congratulations. And said, so what happened? You stopped being vegan? And then she said, yes. I was disappointed, man. I was like, oh, man. So that was not what I was expecting. Of course, I can't control people's decision, but I would expect from her probably to find a better resource and not just follow what her husband was saying, because at the end of the day, he was wrong with that, because she could have easily had a baby vegan with no problem. As a matter of fact, it still would be good for her and the baby as well, because they maintain a healthy lifestyle. She seemed to be pretty healthy and whatnot. The baby was going to come healthy, even healthier too. But I don't know if he did in his mind, he was like the lack of protein was thinking that he was going to affect the baby's health, and he was not. It was completely wrong. So That's what here I'm talking about. Pregnancy doesn't necessarily you have to give up on being vegan. You can continue doing that because it actually is good for you. A plant-based diet can help you feel good, which is especially important during pregnancy because your body needs all of the energy to get ready for the baby and keep it healthy. If you have been eating well before pregnancy or before being pregnant, there's no reason why you should stop now, right? You just continue doing the same thing. So I don't know why she could stop. So which is disappointing. In addition to being good for your health, a plant-based diet can also be great for the environment. We all know that, and babies. Not only does it reduce greenhouse gas emission by avoiding meat consumption, which accounts for nearly about 30% of the global greenhouse gases, right? But it also reduces deforestation by 20% and water use by 50% and land use by 20%. So this is amazing numbers, right? So how can we prove and show the benefit of a plant-based diet? And I know there's a lot of haters that you're talking about a lot of things, but think about this from a very massive macro perspective. While breastfeeding can be hard for women with strict dietary restrictions, a healthful plant-based lifestyle is not one of them, right? The protein in breast milk is extremely important for babies who need it to grow and develop. Plus, according to the American Academy of Pediatricians, the positive impact of breastfeeding of an infant health and development cannot be overstated. That being said, when you have an infant or toddler who doesn't eat what you do or vice versa, finding ways to make food accessible can be difficult, but not impossible. The American Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics previously stated that children can follow a vegan diet as long as it's planned carefully, basically. Healthy organizations no longer think that vegans need to be an extra careful with what they plan if they are to reap the health benefit of the plant-based diet. So there's been a thing out there like, oh yeah, if to be able to go vegan, you have to plan it well and all the different things and all the different cautiousness, right, that people have been throwing out there. But in actuality, there's no need. There's no necessarily need. Like I asked one time, I never forget about this. I asked one time, a good friend of mine, and about raising kids vegan, right? Because I know this has been out for quite some time. Derek Treesize. I asked Derek one time, like, so what do you? Because he and his wife, they both vegan and they've been vegan for quite some time as well. And they both they had 3 kids now, and they all raised their kids vegan from birth, right? So I asked them, this is a while back before they had their second child, because now they're on the third, so before they had the second child. So when they had their first child, I asked them, so how do you feed your kid? How do you feed your son? What do you give him? And then he basically said, I give him the same food I eat, I just give him smaller portions. And I was like, well, that's brilliant, right? So if you actually eating healthy, like you as a person eating healthy, a whole food plant-based diet, then you're gonna give the same food to your kid. Sweet potato, lentils, grains, seed. Of course, you gotta be careful, I guess, if you're not gonna give your kids nuts and then you're gonna choke or whatnot. But what I'm saying is like, you if it's a food is the consistency is too strong. What I mean, so it's like let's say you're not gonna give it like a chunk of let's say a big piece of avocado, for example. You want to smash it, squash it, so it can be more soft or more moist, so that way they can digest it and swallow it better. So, but the point is that I'm trying to say is that at the end of the day, if you personally have a healthier diet, you're gonna give your kids that same type of food because that's the kind of food that they need, and it's gonna benefit them as well. So you make sure that you're eating right, you're eating well, you're eating the right food, and then when it comes down to your kid, you'll give them the same thing too. So that's all it comes down to it. So that's why now that we know that there's no need to over plan this whole eating thing, is just get the right information, learn what you need to do, learn what you need to eat, and then just translate that into giving it to your kids in smaller portions, with a better presentation on a different texture, so they can eat and digest that food better. So it comes down to that. So it's really not that difficult, right? So like I was saying, The American Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics previously stated that children can follow a vegan diet as long as it is planned carefully. Health organization no longer thinks that vegans need to be extra careful with the way they eat or the way they plan their meals. If they are ripped to the health benefit of plant-based diet, they should be good to go. That same institution said vegans do not need to be more vigilant about the nutrition than other people because vegan food contains less saturated fat and cholesterol than animal food. They should pay attention to the amount of sodium in their meal since it increases blood pressure. I would include also that the plant-based, whole food plant-based diet have more fiber, which is a great fiber is amazing. So that's one of the benefits that a whole food plant-based diet is going to provide you as well. So you're going to have more fiber. So make sure that you have a high fiber meals, which, if you stick to a whole food plant-based diet, then definitely you're not going to have a fiber deficiency. According to the TechKind, the education division of PETA, since September of 2014, the AAND now recognizes that appropriately planned vegan diets are healthy, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits in the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. The most recent edition of Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommendation a plant-based diet as an effective way to prevent chronic disease and promote weight loss. The Surgeon General call to attention of heart disease stated that a plant-based diet can help you lower your risk of heart disease by keeping saturated fat intake low and reducing consumption of trans fat like margarine and vegetable shortening. The most important thing is that your child or teen can meet their nutrition need on a plant-based diet. We all know that, right? The main source of protein, calcium, and iron are found in plant food. Protein is found in all type of beans, such as lentils, peas, red lentils, white lentils, all kind of lentils. But at the same time, you can get chickpeas as also some type of beans. You can find in the nuts, almonds, cashews, pistachios, etc. Seeds like sunflower seed or pumpkin seeds, tofu, tempeh, seitan, wheat gluten, quinoa, spinach, kale, collard, mustard, greens, Swiss yard. This list goes on and on. You can also get calcium from broccoli or soy. If you don't like tofu, don't worry. They're both delicious anyway. Iron comes from 4 to 5 cereals like oatmeal and vegetable meal or vegan meal basically, made with rice syrup instead of sugar. So you stay away from sugar, right? But when I say stay away from sugar, I not mean fruits. I'm talking about the unhealthy sugars. Yeah, definitely the white one, that one, right? Veganism is a journey, not a destination. As you may have noticed, the word vegan doesn't always mean what it used to be. Today, veganism is a bit more complex than just avoiding animal products. Vegans are also committed to a whole grain, fruit and veggies, sustainable agriculture, and small-scale production of meat. So kind of like to wrap this up and then to kind of gel all together, with all this in mind, it's important for parents to remember that when you help transition your child, your kids to a vegan diet, it's going to take some time. Patience and compassion is important, and especially like if your kid is not accustomed to eating certain things, then you make sure that you be patient. So it's not very similar to what would you with you if you're trying to transition, right? Maybe some approach where you go step by step or little by little or periodically could be a better approach than a more let me take off all these stuff out, animal products out, and then give you this right away. So it depends on what kind of approach you want to take, right? I think a lot of the things that you can do from a parent's perspective is that, like, you're a parent that you feed your kids all kind of unhealthy food like nuggets and chicken nuggets and all that kind of things. You can find the equivalent to those meals on a vegan presentation, just to get the kid kind of going, kind of basically familiar. So show him or her food that he or she is used to eating, or likes eating or enjoy eating, even though not necessarily the most healthier food, but allow them to, kind of go to that transition period in a more subtle way instead of like cold turkey, no pun intended. So I think you can definitely do that. You'll find all those different chicken nuggets. You can find, you can buy, you can get bread with cheese, and you can get hot dog and burger and fries and all the healthy meals. You can find those in the vegan presentation, and then start, adding more things little by little. And instead of just completely just like removing all the things right away. Fruits are great, especially as far as the sweet tooth. Your kid had a very sweet tooth. Dates, apple, bananas, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that you can do. Be creative, like you can mix bananas with peanut butter, for example, as a snack instead of just giving them candy, right? You can you can give them apples and then just mix it with something else, so you can just be creative, and that allows the kids to still have some full meals, but at the same time some good and healthy meals. It's also important for children and teens who are following the vegan diet to be aware of how they are feeling at any given moment, so they don't get burned out and give up before they even start. So yeah, just take it easy. Just take your time, work with your kids, talk to them. I think education is great. If they're in an age that they can simulate more, the communication is better. Just teach them. Just show them the different things, the benefit, and what are they eating, what they should not be eating, and then yeah, I think education allows them to kind of also understand why they're doing it and why when they go to school they have to face certain situations, and with that they will have a better understanding and a better transition. So hopefully a lot of these things helps you guys. One thing that I ended up doing when I was transitioning that helped me, spoke with my parents at the beginning. I took two approaches. My first approach was, okay, everything that I was just learning about a vegan lifestyle, I was trying to shove that into my family as a teen. And well, I was put past a teen at that point. I was a lot older, but this can help you guys too. So this is another tip. So I was trying to shove that all to my parents, to my sisters, to my brothers. So I thought I was like this revolutionist guy, and I have all this massive information, and I wanted to share it. But I noticed that personally, in my experience, did not work because they never changed. They was calling me crazy. I was going against the grain. So there was a lot of things happening. So I tried to do that. Then I try to use the approach from the animal's perspective, right? Oh, you gotta change. You gotta stop eating animal because, the animals and the animal, and that did not work. So then I tried another approach from a fitness standpoint. Hey, you know what? You have to do it because you want to eat healthy. You want to eat healthy and all that stuff, and that didn't work either. Because I noticed that a lot of people in the fitness industry, they promote health and they're not vegan. So I never saw like a really good correlation of promoting veganism with health when there are people in the health industry promoting health with a keto diet or any other type of diet. So it turns into a fight, and then to me, I didn't see the benefit. Now, me personally being healthy as a vegan, which is probably my third approach, helped me a lot because now I'm leading by example. So we always talk about leading by example, like you have to be the voice, you have to be the representation, and but you represent yourself a certain way. It allows people to think about it at least. So that helps me a lot. Me getting into good shape, doing fitness or whatnot. So it allows me to be like, well, you can be vegan and look like that. So that brought up a lot of attention. But then the attention shift to just your physique and not to the main purpose of promoting the lifestyle and promoting the proper way of eating. And at the same time, you're promoting basically, animal rights and the environment and all the different things. So it kind of goes away from the actual message because people are so focused now and like, oh, I want to see how your body changes and all that. And then you turns into like, it's like in a show. And at the end of the day, that's not the reason why you're doing it. So So you have to find actually what approach works for you, what works better for you. And I have tried different approaches to try to convert or try to help my family at least make better choices, right? And I can tell you that with years, yeah, I see some small changes, right? I see things like, they eating probably more fruits and still a heavy consumption of meat, but you can see small changes. So even though there has been a small change, at the end of the day, they still continue doing the same things, right? But you try at least to make changes as far as the way they eat or whatnot. And I can see that there's been some small ones, not small one done, but at the end of the day, you want to continue to create a bigger impact. I think I have been able more to influence outsiders more than my direct family. But like I said, I continue living by example. I continue, staying true to myself. I have continued with this lifestyle for over 20 years now, and have not changed the way I eat, regardless of the situation. With that, it brings a bigger point because now are seeing now they are seeing the consistency in me, right? Like I'm consistent with what I do and the way I think and the way I eat. So with that said, there's no doubt that I'm really into it for the reason that I'm into it. So that has helped at least to bring some awareness. But one thing that I had continued doing is speaking about it. I had different channels and that I use now to promote the lifestyle or to talk about it, either podcast, YouTube channel, social media, and all the different things. And all those things all help, right? But at the end of the day, it always comes down to you, how you present yourself, how you educate others, how you teach the rest of the world, how you do it, and no matter what age you are, right? As long as you have the opportunity to, to speak about it, to talk about it, to showcase, to be you, to educate rest, you always can send that message and you can always inspire others. So I just want to leave you guys with those words, and I appreciate you guys so much. Love you guys, and see you guys in the next episode. All right, bye.